everyone. We're back. You're here. We're here. Let's party. I'm your good friend Simon.
I'm your good friend Dana.
I'm your good friend Aman.
Yep, we're here. Back from outer space.
In this hot room.
In this hot room.
This room's not hot.
I'm facing
very hot
across the table from both of these two nerds.
Awkward.
It's a lot worse than what we had before, which was us sitting,
I mean, me and
side
you were
by
always
side.
facing each other.
But it was a bigger distance.
There was also,
though.
a larger distance, and Dana was in between us, sort of buffering.
Yeah. Now it's just us sort of, we're like the cops.
Yeah.
And we
It's like
have
good
to,
cop, bad
third
cop.
degree
You're the
you.
criminal.
Yeah.
I hate it.
So this is going to be a special sort of episode because we are doing our list of favorites. So this is going to be a thing we do monthly at the end of every month where we sort of reflect and we talk about and make a list of our favorite things that we experienced, that happened to us, that we happened at, that we ate, played, listened to, any sort of like verb situation that we experienced. And we're just going to talk about those and sort of recommend some things and maybe recommend some things you stay away from, or some things that just impacted us in general.
Interesting.
Yeah. So I guess I'll kick us off here by starting with another podcast.
Your favorite podcast?
Yes.
Okay.
Well, my favorite one for the month,
Right.
which is The Adventure Zone. Mm-hmm. It specifically like their Amnesty arc or whatever. Yeah. So this is a podcast that's done by the best podcasters in the business, in my opinion. I love them.
Podcast gods.
It's three brothers and their dad playing tabletop role-playing games together. It's just fantastic. The production level is so high as well, but beyond all that, there's something just so endearing about that. Like, they just have so much heart. Like, when you have like three brothers and their father, like taking the time to sit together and like nerd out like very hard because they're playing a tabletop RPG. It's just really great, and it's like really funny, and they just they have that sort of connection that only comes by way of having lived with people for so long and dealt with them and seen all their dark hearts and secrets and pains and laughter, and that all really comes through in the way they sort of like play their characters together and just like enjoy one another's company. And it's always like powerful in its goofiness, but also in the like how serious they take it, because they do invest themselves in their characters, they invest themselves in their time, and that's always important, I think, with any sort of media like you're ingesting. Like, if it doesn't feel authentic, if it doesn't feel like people care about what they're doing, then I'm not gonna want to participate either.
Yeah, I think to sum up that podcast pretty much is because they played D&D for a while, and I think at the end of that arc that they did, Justin said, and that concludes the story of four dudes who played D&D so hard they made themselves cry. And I think that kind of sums it up, because it was I mean, even now, this like current arc that they're doing is very good.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely recommend the Amnesty arc, but I mean, there's absolutely no reason you shouldn't, like, if you go and listen to this, you shouldn't start at episode 1,
right? Like
with the balance arc is what they called it when they switched games. So it was Dungeons and Dragons first arc or first season, however you want to sort of look at it, and then the second one came with Amnesty, which is like they use a different system. It's called the
Monster of the Week.
Monster
it's with
of the
Fate
Week,
system, yeah.
But it's really cool, and it made me really want to play that game because it looks like a lot of fun.
Accurate. Don't shake your head, Aman.
I'm not shaking my head.
You were.
You did. You absolutely were.
No one can see that, so
Okay,
didn't happen.
fine,
Pictures,
whatever.
or it's not real.
Okay, well, who's next?
Dana.
Okay. it might surprise nobody at this table that one of my favorite things from this month was Stranger Things.
Heck yeah, dude. Heck
Shocker.
yeah, dude.
See, the third season came out, and I was like,
Forgot all about that.
dude, I was home alone, and I was like, oh, okay, I have to get ready because I got some friends coming over later tonight because we're going to shoot off a bunch of fireworks legally. And I was like, oh, I'll sit down and watch like an episode.
One episode.
The whole entire season later, I was bawling my eyes out.
Yeah.
And my friends still weren't over. And then nobody had watched the whole thing because,
Because she told us that she was only going to watch one episode. And I was like, okay, sweet. And then she's like, something happened. I watched too many. Oh, no, there's none left.
I watched the whole season. And it was very, very good. That whole show to me is amazing. I can take or leave the second season, but just the feel of it, the immersion, I guess, what is that called? Like the setting? I don't like the setting, but I just like it a lot. It makes me happy, and I like even from a standpoint of how they film it and how the acting behind it is very good. And so after I watched the third season, I went back and rewatched the whole entire series.
Very good. Very good. Who's your favorite character?
Oh, Hopper.
Hopper?
Absolutely.
Who's your favorite character?
That's tough.
How tough?
It's pretty tough.
I was thinking Hopper too. Like, Hopper is definitely up there, and I think he comes through so hard in the third season. You know what I mean? It's like he's got sort of like a slow burn until the third season where you're like, Hop,
yes,
my boy.
That's the thing. It's very I root for him in every single episode because he's almost in the very first season, he's just like, I don't care what happens to me kind of a thing. But in this one, it's like, I
think I'm going to have to go with Steve.
Steve is very good too.
Steve is very good.
Yeah, because first season I was kind of like, oh, this tool, and then at the end of the season you're like,
he has some of the best development.
And then
he
he has great development, and then the second season so much development. He's always he takes one for the team every season. He always gets beat up. He always gets beat up, and then third season, he finally gets to beat up somebody.
Yeah,
but
there was a thing that was in the first season, everyone was like, "Oh, Nancy Wheeler doesn't deserve Steve," and by the third season, you're there's no way.
Yep.
Yeah.
But
and what's her name? Robin something.
Robin.
Robin's her name.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, she's awesome in that.
She's
too.
awesome too.
Yeah.
That's why I was
character,
it was tough because if I'm thinking all three seasons, I'll probably go with Steve. But if I'm thinking just third season, I probably honestly would say Robin or Murray.
Yeah.
Oh, Murray was very good. But I do have to say the acting of Dacre Montgomery, the guy who plays Billy.
Yeah.
He is
he
deserves all of the awards.
I really didn't like him in season 2, but
no, I didn't either. But I think, but then they made me feel so bad for him come season 3
Right.
because of all that stuff that he was going through. So it was just
I mean, I didn't like him in season 2 either, but I think I didn't like him for the right reasons.
Yeah, I didn't like him because he was an asshole.
Because he
was
because he
still
was
a
a
good
very good
actor,
actor.
yeah, it's like Joffrey in Game of Thrones.
Yeah.
You hate that guy, but you're like, oh man, what
all
a
right.
good acting.
My question is, yay or nay to Max? I don't think Max adds anything to the group.
Sorry. Max.
She's the redhead girl.
Oh.
Billy's sister.
I think it's hard because I think she served one of the biggest purposes
In season 3,
but she still is not contributing a whole lot beyond that because she is the reason that she is what catalyst the change for
right.
Elle.
But at the same time, that was all of one episode.
Yep.
So
it's tough, man. They should. The problem is they have so many characters. You know what I mean, and you can't focus all of them because at the same time, I forget his name. Her boyfriend
Lucas,
doesn't really serve that much of a purpose throughout the narrative that much either, because really you're focusing on Will because he's having the most issue, you know what I mean, and he's still sort of tied, as well as I'm
Mike.
so bad with names.
Mike.
With the
Dustin,
yes, because he all that stuff with his girlfriend, which is hilarious, and the never-ending story, which is just beautiful.
Well, honestly, like even in season 2 and season 1, like, I mean, now that you say that, Lucas doesn't do a whole lot. Like, you have like Mike, who's obviously tied to 11, and then you have Will, who has all his own crap going on, and then you have Dustin, who at one point has a demi-dog. So like you have like,
and he's always with Steve. Like he's
right. And you just have Lucas.
Yeah, which, I mean, he has, like, the wrist rocket, which I guess you could atone for. But, no, I mean, that's what I'm trying to play devil's advocate here. Like, find something. But at the same time, it's like...
Yeah, because he does the same thing for Mike that Max does for 11, I guess.
Yeah.
In that same way, because he's sort of, like, there, like... As,
helping.
like, the only other one who doesn't want to play D&D.
He did come in clutch with that axe, though, in Hopper's house.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
And with the fireworks at the end.
Yeah, with the fireworks at the end. He has good ideas.
Yeah.
Oh, I forgot about the fireworks. That was awesome.
He's like, oh, who's the kid in the Goonies with like all the inventions?
Oh my God, what is his name?
I don't remember his name. But
okay,
I know
well, he's like that
about.
Kid. He's like, so he comes up with like all the really good ideas.
Oil slick.
The booby traps guy?
Yeah.
Booby traps. You mean booby traps? Yeah, that's what I said, booty traps.
Yeah. So my Stranger Things is absolutely my...
Sorry, I just remembered like the end of the Goonies where like their parents are all there on the side of the beach, and then like that kid's dad comes out and he's got the camera that comes out of his belt.
It's like the first selfie stick, dude.
It's
way before his time.
It's so
Who would have known?
What a good movie.
I'm on.
What? Oh, sorry. Just like, what a good movie. I'm on. I have a few. Some of them are more recent, and then some are just things I've rewatched recently that I was like, this is really good. I'll go with Rich Brian put out a new album this month, and I actually really dig it.
I don't know much about Rich Brian. Tell me about Rich Brian.
Okay, so Rich Brian is I think he's from, I could be totally wrong, I think he's from Indonesia, but I think he's Japanese. And he is pretty young. His first single that got really big was Dat Stick, and it was really big, and like the music video was hilarious, and it blew up on YouTube because it's like this little Asian kid with a pink polo and a fanny pack on, and his voice sounds really deep. Like, it does not sound like his face at all, and it's just like totally blows you away because you think like, oh, he's got this stand-in doing this music video, and it's like, no, that's him. Like, he's just a scrawny little Asian kid that like raps really well and has like a really good flow, but is like totally doesn't fit the like atypical like scenario of like what a rapper looks like or sounds like or voice matches body kind of.
Yeah.
And his like whole aesthetic is totally different. And so he had already put out an album before, but this is like his second album, and I think like just over the last 4 years or whatever, he's kind of like just kind of matured in his like style and kind of gotten to like what he thinks he like wants to sound like, because he's got most of his stuff beforehand was like bangers, for lack of better terms, were just like hard-hitting trap music, but this album's like really different. Even the singles that he put out were like totally different vibes, so I was very like interested to see like where he was gonna go with the album. There aren't really like any quote-unquote bangers on the album. It's real chill, like low vibe rap, but it's actually still really good. He still sounds like himself, which I appreciate in artists. Like, he's not trying to sound like somebody else. It still sounds like him. His flow is still the same, but like the music wise is like, it sounds like a more mature level of like, hey, I'm gonna experiment with my style. I'm gonna try to see what works and what doesn't work, which I kind of like attest to like what Mac Miller did with his music. Like, his first couple albums were like, all right, Mac Miller is a young guy. This sounds like, you know, high school young guy rap. But then like when Good AM came out, it was like, oh, Mac Miller's really found his like spot and like how he's gonna mature in his style. So I think that like Rich Brian's kind of doing that, like testing the waters out. So like the flow is very like Action Bronson, like Ghostface Killah. Like, it's real just like just chill, you know, like it just has that like vibe that you're just like, okay, it kind of has almost like a West Coast vibe to it. So I really dug the album. I listened through all of it. I was expecting to hear like, all right, when's that like trap single gonna come through? And it didn't. And it was like a lot more chill, a lot more introspective. But I appreciated it from the artist, and it's probably one of my favorite albums that was to come out like this month. So
that's probably like, man, one of the hardest things I think to accomplish too with music. And it's not like, you know, an artist is like swapping like genres per se, but to like come through with an album that is completely different than your first one and still make it sound authentic and still make it sound like, oh yes, this is still exactly this person I've been listening to and know, but they're just gone and done something completely different.
Right. And that's kind of like, I mean, another artist that I like that a lot of people don't or are skeptical to like is Jaden Smith, and like he put out another album this month, but like similar to that, his first album was very much like, I'm not going to change the way my voice sounds, I'm not going to like try to be somebody else, I'm just going to be me, but I'm going to try all these different styles on my album. I don't really care like if it's not as cohesive as you think it should be, but like I admire that in like an artist, like to try new things but to not like change themselves to be somebody else. So, and it's tough too, like in society, like if you're used to hearing something from a certain band and then them changing or trying to evolve, because the world's like, especially the world of music is like constantly evolving and trying to stay like in tune with that. It's tough to see like, oh, like play your old stuff, you know, like you get that a lot, and it's like super discouraging. Is like one of the reasons why a lot of people think that Chester killed himself, because it was like Linkin Park was not, they weren't playing what they used to play. They like had really changed their style at that point. We're trying to keep up with the times, and then like they like people were just booing them at their shows, like for it was really bad. That. Yeah, there's like a whole video on that, like where people were just like booing them on that new album that they dropped right before he did that, and it was just like that. It's got to be like super discouraging if you're like trying to like keep up with ever changing music, because that's like what you see and what you want. Like you want to write new songs and play new stuff, but like people really only want you for like what they remember you to be, which is fine, you know, playing out your old stuff, but like you have to move forward as an artist. So
that's hard too, man. People just suck in that sort of way. They just like, we don't need to get into that.
Right. But I mean, like nostalgia, well, I don't want to say like nostalgia because it's not technically like nostalgic, but it's like, you know, there's certain albums that I'll listen to, like Blink-182, that I'll listen to and be like, oh, it takes me back to this time or whatever. And it's like, yeah, but is it like, I can't look past that to be like, is this musically actually good?
Right. It's tough too. And like, and even seeing like artists, like when you see them live and you're like, oh, I wish they'd play like my favorite album, and they like don't. They play like their new stuff or whatever. For me, is like as long as it like I can still see that artist in that new thing, whether their like style's different or whatnot, and it still like reminds me of Linkin Park or Rich Brian or whoever it may be. Like for me, that's enough. But like if it's like, man, you guys have changed your whole face and like who you are like beneath what you're creating, for me that's the turn off. Like.
For sure. Well, I'm going to switch gears. Completely, yes. Completely different form of media. Completely different. So I played one of these video games this month.
What are those?
And they're crazy now. The graphics, they've got a lot of them.
They don't have just 16?
Yeah, no, they've got a lot of them now.
Pixels?
Yeah, all kinds of them. All kinds
16
of
pixels.
But I played Resident Evil 2, the remake.
Okay, hold on.
Wait, is it what is it, a remaster or a remake? I can't remember.
It's completely remade. Like I think that term's kind of confusing, right? Because there's remakes and there's remasters, but the game is like rebuilt from the ground up. It's just the same like narrative and same setting, so it's like all the same, but you know, they redid all the textures, like redid everything. The character models, like it looks incredible. It's probably like the best looking game I've played like so far. But it is just
wow, that's a big statement.
No, for sure. Like it.
No, it actually is like
it looks incredible. The
y'all don't
models,
know, but like Simon plays a lot of games, so like for him to say that is like, okay.
All the character models look just like spectacular. Like the setting is incredible. Like the whole aesthetic is I don't think you could hit it more on the head for a game. And so like remembering the game I played like back in the day, you know how sometimes you're like, oh man, I'm gonna watch whatever, like the Never-Ending Story again. Like, so I have such fond memories, and you watch, you're like, oh my god, this is garbage. Like, what is even happening here?
How did I not see all these editing?
What am I looking at right now? But no, it is not that at all. It was that sort of phenomenon you get when you like look back fondly on a game or something, and you think like, and then you go and play it like GoldenEye, and you're like, oh woof.
Well, the graphics are awful.
Oh yeah.
How do I move in this game?
This is like if you were to go back and do that, and it was better than what you remember it, because the game was absolutely better than what I remembered playing it when I was younger. It is horrifying in all the best ways. Like, I'm not like a huge horror fan either. Like, I don't like scary movies and stuff, but like the way in which that game like tries to sort of like produce fear is different than like, oh, I'm gonna get you, like, or like, oh, there's like some weird, like, there's not any sort of like, I don't know, like,
it's not like a loud noise followed by,
yeah, it's not a bunch of jump scares, it's not any of that stuff. It's just like they put you in this setting, and like you're stuck in this like police station, right? But it used to be like a museum. And so there's like there's like this layer sort of like beneath everything, right? And there's like all these like puzzles, and you got to find like all these different things. But most of the game like takes place, or the first part of the game takes place like just in this police station. So you have to wander through and complete all these different objectives and stuff. But like the police station, I'm a huge fan of like this, in whether it's like in books or in movies or whatever. But the police station like is very much its own like character, and it has so much character, and it has so much depth to it. And you have to like retrace all your steps like constantly and go back, and you're like finding keys to doors that you passed before. And I mean, this is going to be like spoilers too, but there also is the point where Mr. X like it is introduced to the game, right? Who is this massive entity, like this, 7 foot tall, like 300 pound, like monstrosity, right? And he just chases you, right? And so you reach this point in the game where he is like unlocked basically, and he chases you for the rest of your time in the police station. You can't get away from him. He's like constant, and you're wearing headphones, or at least I was, and it's all like binaural audio. So you are hearing his footsteps. Like, you run away, like, and you'll close doors and stuff, and you'll run. You go to the other end of the police station, and you'll just softly hear like,
nope, nah. See, I can't.
And it gets louder and louder the closer he gets, and you'll hear like a door open, and then him like coming towards you. It was so
horrifying.
Like, the anxiety it produced was incredible. And normally, like, I'm a pretty anxious person, like, as is, but when it's like, like, I can have it like in a sort of like nice container where I can like sort of just look at it and experience, like, it's okay. And man, I played it through twice. Like,
did you?
Because you can play as Leon Kennedy or
that's right.
Or
the
Claire
lady.
Redfield.
Yeah.
So I played through as Leon, and then played through again as Claire, like right after I finished it. And it's one of those games too where it's like, I think it took like 8 hours to play through, like, on each character. So
really?
I just
Did it in a
smashed
day.
right through them. Yeah, but man, and it still does the thing. Like, so I played the second one on like the hardcore mode, which means like ammo and stuff like that is so like scarce, like, and you can't just go around shooting everything. You can't like protect yourself that well. You literally have to run and sort of outmaneuver, and you can't even save the game without having this item, which are like these ink ribbons. So if you like run out of ink ribbons, you can't save your game. So if you get to a point and Mr. X gets you, then it's like, oh, you've just lost all this progress.
That makes me stressed.
It adds like this crazy other layer of anxiety, because it's like there's the anxiety in the game of all these enemies chasing you, and then there's this meta layer of like knowing, oh my god, if they get me, I'm gonna have to go back through this, and they're gonna get me again. I don't know. I haven't played a game that has made me like experience that much like sort of evocative emotion, and I don't know how long, but man, it was so good.
Dude, that audio thing like we've talked about this like not on here obviously, but with that Senua or whatever that someone sacrificed the game that's like supposed to like
Soul Sacrifice or no Hellblade no yes no
the one with the lady on the cover and it's like
Sinuous Sacrifice.
Yeah.
Is that
and
not Hellblade?
Like, maybe it is.
I think it's like Hellblade.
Sinuous Sacrifice.
Lady's Name Sacrifice.
Well, Lady's Name Sacrifice. Mm-hmm. It is like supposed to like emulate like schizophrenia.
Oh, really? See, I haven't played that.
And so like when you first turn it on, it's like, oh, wear headphones, and so you put the headphones on, and you just hear like voices like all over.
That's
dude,
crazy.
I made it maybe 10 minutes into that game, and it's like, nah, can't do it.
Man,
it was too much.
I freaking love good audio.
Yeah,
so it changes the dynamic of any experience like 100-fold.
It does. It absolutely does. Like I wanted to play that game, but now I'm gonna have to play it without headphones in the day, just from that one experience.
But yeah, that's it. Resident Evil 2 remake. If you're into games and being scared, but not like super scared. It's not out to like be a horror thing. It's just like it's something that by sort of like adjacency is put into like the horror genre. I feel like because it's not like explicitly trying to be whatever. But yeah, there you go.
Following along the line of video games, I've been playing a lot of Breath of the Wild again on the Switch. That game is just fun.
Yeah,
it's just a lot of fun.
Yeah, it is.
You've never played it.
I have played part of it, and it was very brief.
Because I played it at my house.
Yeah.
Did you?
Yeah, I don't have a Switch.
Oh yeah, that's right. No, I've I had to replay it because my save file got deleted.
That was so. I mean, it wasn't funny, but man, it was so funny.
Yeah, that was.
I didn't even know that could happen in 2019.
I didn't know that could happen either. I only had one profile on my Switch, and some kid just like sat down and was like, "New game," and it just erased all of my stuff.
So tough.
I had beaten all the DLC too. I had the little motorcycle.
Not anymore.
No, I got it again. And that boss fight is hard, man. Anyway, so I've been playing a lot of Breath of the Wild, because that game is just like, I don't know, it's relaxing to me at times.
Yes.
Like
it is.
A friend of ours, Justin, was playing it one night, and I was watching him because he needed help on something. And he would just stop and just turn the camera and just be like, sometimes I just stop and look at the scenery of the game.
Yes,
and I was like, yeah, you
right.
need to. Like, that's how you play this game. And I know that game came out like, probably 2 years ago now, if not more.
Yeah, I think it was 2017.
And they've already like teased a sequel to it. But man, it's a good game.
Yeah, the thing I like about that game and several other games like that are like Dark Souls and stuff like that, and even Destiny, like it has that sort of like water cooler effect where when you have people playing it and then like another person's playing it, like, and you see that person, you're like, hey, did you get to this part where you did this thing? Did you find out about this or this? It's like, oh, but did you check behind that? Or like, did you find the secret boss and the thing? Like any of that sort of thing, like I am so on board for it. And Breath of the Wild had so much of that.
It was, I found a video yesterday because like they had just announced like 5 days ago that they found like a new glitch for Korok seeds, and I almost sent it to you and Justin just to be like, hey, look. But it was like, I watched the video and I was like, they ain't gonna do this. Like, it was like some like ridiculous thing, and I was like, there's no way. But you're right, it does like Justin would just be like, I finally got this sword, and I'm like, cool.
Yeah, nice,
that's
bro.
Awesome. I got that sword too.
So now you can go and do this.
Exactly. So yeah, Breath of the Wild is a very good video game. It's not a horror video game, so if you like.
No. It's the opposite.
If Resident Evil sounds too scary, then play Breath of the Wild.
Sweet. My turn. So I bought this comic book a long time ago, and I hadn't read it until I started reading it recently. I haven't finished it. It's not that long. There's only like one issue, and not that I know of, they haven't put out other issues of it. But it's called Descender, and it's gotten a lot of good reviews. I started reading it. I actually really, really like it. It's called Descender 10 Stars. And it's pretty much like about this like AI boy that's like on this mining colony. And the world that they live in is like they created like robots, and they created these like massive robots that were pretty much like what they called harvesters. And they were like the size of like the Death Star for size
crazy
wise, yeah. But they started like a robot cull, and they started like killing off like mass amounts of humans, and so they like banned all robots from like the intergalactic whatever, I don't remember what it is called, but like the government pretty much was like, no more robots. And so like 10 years has passed, and like this robot boy like finds himself like waking up in this mining colony that's like abandoned, and he's having to like team up with like people and other robots and like try to stay away from like bounty hunters that are constantly looking for robots to kill. And like the animation is really sick, and it's like I was actually like trying to think of like how to describe it, but I was reading online and this guy like writes it pretty well, but he's like writing a review on it, and he's saying like the heroes are full of like pathos and mythical qualities, which are sweet, and the storytelling is actually fantastic, and the art is really good. He's like, this is why I love sci-fi. But there's also like factions, there's like robot haters, there's like robot sympathizers. You've got all these like people that are like, oh, we don't need to kill them, and they're like, no, they're just gonna like turn into killing machines again. And it's kind of has like this story of like AI, like that movie AI, you know, with
Haley Joel Osment.
Yeah, Jude Law and whatever that other kid's name is.
Haley Joel Osment.
Yeah, but it has like the storytelling and like sci-fi of like Star Wars, so it kind of has like this pull to your like emotions, but like with really, really good storytelling. And so I don't know, I've been reading it and I haven't gotten all the way through it, but I really like it so far. And you two are welcome to borrow it. It's in my office.
Yeah, I probably will.
Yeah, I was just gonna.
I don't. Who publishes it? Is it like DC?
I don't think so.
Like, or is that Dark Horse?
It might be Dark
It's
Horse.
Katy Perry.
Katy Perry is. Yeah,
Katy
I heard she was
Perry
getting into.
publishes the best comic books.
Graphic novel publishing.
Image Comics.
Image. Okay, that's cool. Yeah, I'm not like the hugest. That's a word. Hugest like comic book reader, or hugest. I've heard it both ways.
Yeah.
No, I haven't. But the ones I've sat down and really like gotten into, I've always enjoyed. You know, it's just not something I like.
Did you catch up on Doomsday? Because I haven't.
I haven't yet. No.
I'm like 4 issues behind, even though I have them all. I'm just like, oh, I should.
It's just one of those weird things where I'm just like, I don't know if it's. I sort of have this thing I do where I like to like save media that I know will be very good for the incredible media drought or when Y2K happens.
Right.
You know
it's
what I mean?
like I have these 12 issues of Doomsday Clock that I haven't read.
Or it's like, oh, I have
Priceless.
the complete collection of Robin Wars, which I really want to read that, but I can't yet because I have no idea why. It's just this weird sort of thing. I prevent myself from doing things I enjoy because I think I'll enjoy them more later or something. I don't know.
I do really want to get this is super off topic. It has to do with comics, though. I do really want to get the Akira books and read all 5 of those.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
You can get the whole set on Amazon. It's just like $120, so they're all hardback.
For words? I'm sorry.
For just words and color? That's stupid.
Well, apparently, because like the movie Akira is like the first half of the movie is like the first book, and then he smashes all of the rest of the books into the second half of the movie, which is why the storyline doesn't super make sense. It's because he's like mashing so much storytelling into like the
second
last
half.
Yeah. And because he only wrote the first book before he directed that movie or like wrote the movie, and then he wrote the 2 through 5 after that, after the movie came out.
That's
so
interesting.
It's like,
I didn't know that. I watched that movie a couple months ago.
It's so good.
It is so good. It's crazy.
It's so like beautiful
and disgusting. It's both.
Yeah. But like like animation
wise, yes, like it's the hand-drawn animation is incredible.
It's insane, especially for the time that it came out, like in the 80s. Like the light,
groundbreaking.
The light effects that he uses
for all the motorcycles and
like the city
that.
and like
Neo
even the like
Tokyo
fraction
so
and stuff. Oh man, it's kind of insane how good it is.
I love that freaking art style too, because it was during that sort of time where like anime was making this transition from, and I mean you still sort of see it now, but there was like a whole bunch of soft edges, you know, in like in the 80s and early 90s and stuff, which transitioned to like really hard, like angular sort of like shapes and lines and stuff in like the more modern anime and stuff like that. And it was like right in that sort of like perfect medium where, you know, characters like, because like the rounded sort of shapes and stuff give a lot of warmth, and like all the Studio Ghibli films have a lot of warmth and stuff, and they all sort of have that natural sort of like older animation style, you know.
You can really see it like I think after like 2000 where like start to like get those harder edges, because even now like we're like totally off topic, but like even now I've like been rewatching Cowboy Bebop, and like that came out in like 98 99, and you can still, it still has that very like 90s 80s-esque anime style, like Ghost in the Shell and those, and you're just like, oh man, it looks so like rich, you know, like it's like vintage and it just has that like shine and glow, and you're like, man, it like just don't make them like this anymore. Like it, but seriously, like anime now is so like pop, and like there's so much like brightness to it, and there's so much like lighting, and the color is just totally different.
It's not hand drawn anymore for the most part. All that stuff is, you know.
But you kind of get this like rustic, like like rich nature of like colors and lines, and like even that like kind of soft tone that you see, and then it's like almost like a mix of like art styles between like the characters that are actually moving, and then like the things that are staying still, and the like that they're not having to redraw every frame. And
like you said, we're completely off talk about anime now at this point, but I'm a person. I really enjoy anime, but I don't enjoy a lot of anime. It's one of those things where like I would say that like the anime that I love, but I don't watch just like
all the anime. Yeah, same. I'm probably exactly in that same boat, because like anime that I've seen already and I'm like, oh, I really love this, like Cowboy Bebop, I was like, I can rewatch that and like enjoy it like I've been watching it for the first time. But I'm like, do I really want to watch a new anime? I don't know.
I mean it has to be like a big endorsement of like somebody being like, no, it's really good.
Really
like I
good.
can't just sit down and be like, what's this one about, let me read this quick synopsis and watch. It's like, no, I have to be like,
it took me forever to watch One Punch Man. Like literally forever, even though everyone was like, "Oh, it's amazing! Like you're really gonna like it. You're really gonna like it." I'm like, I don't know. I did. One Punch Man is awesome.
Yeah.
Okay.
Where are we?
Well, I was talking about comic books, so I guess you're
if you want to go. Also, my next one that I was gonna say is actually anime.
Okay, well, good. You do that.
Just segue
Attack on Titan just finished their third season. At the end of June. Man, that's a good show. They're coming back with their fourth season, and it's going to be the final one. But
next year?
It's coming out in 2020. Because they had to split the third season into like two different segments because there was a huge like tsunami, I think, that hit, and so they had to stop like making the episodes or whatever. But man, that's a good show. It
has like...
Is it not an American anime? I thought Attack on Titan was American.
I don't know.
I don't know.
I don't know that. I might be completely wrong.
I just know that
I thought that. Maybe not.
I can Google it, but
maybe it's still produced in Japan. I don't know.
I just know that there was like a huge like it says Japanese animated series.
Yeah,
I'm just JTL. Okay. But yeah, I enjoy it. It like I remember the first time I tried to watch it, it creeped me out just because like
it's got that uncanny valley sort of thing happening.
Yeah, with like the Titans with the like just like the
it's terrifying.
What is it, like the Cheshire? What's that?
Cheshire Cat?
Yeah.
Oh, you mean the abnormals? Yeah.
Yeah, or it's just like they smile
Just,
constantly.
like,
I'm like, nah.
And they're like their heads like cocked to the side,
that's
and they're like
so
running.
Creepy to me.
The runs are so awful. It's so awful.
Like it's not. Stop it! Stop! Nobody can see you.
You can, and it's bothering you.
Okay, and it's not bothering me because I know you're you. But yeah, it's just I just enjoy that show a lot. And when I watch it, it's like the intro is like 8 minutes long and the outro is like 45 minutes long and the show feels like it's 5 seconds. So I get really angry.
The outro.
There's a lot of anime, yeah.
I mean, it is like...
That intro music, though, to Attack on Titan is literally the most lit intro song.
I think it's honestly, like, it's really recognizable, too.
Oh, very much so. I mean, it still sounds like an anime show's intro, but like, man, that's like a hype song.
Oh, yeah.
Like if I've ever heard one.
Yeah.
I remember when there was like kind of the thing to put that onto other cartoons, like intros, and it made everything so hype. Like I remember they put it over like SpongeBob, and it was like, "What is happening?" And just like dun 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 dun.
So ready to watch SpongeBob now?
So amped.
But yeah, Attack on Titan, that was another one that it took me a while to watch because it was like people were like, you need to watch it, and I was like, no, okay.
Yeah, I haven't caught up with that. I watched the first season and haven't watched. I watched one episode of season 3 just because it was on Toonami one night, and I was like, let me check this out. It was really cool. It felt like a Western almost.
Oh yeah, it absolutely, like there's one whole episode in I think the first half of the 3rd season and 2nd season where it is like it's like a showdown.
Yeah, it's crazy.
But yeah, so Attack on Titan.
That game is actually pretty fun too. Did you ever play that? You never gave it back, but did you ever play it?
Okay,
Yeah.
no, I think I started it, but then like I had to like.
It was one of those video
like
those movie or TV show video games where you're like, oh, this is probably going to be awful, and then like you're playing it. The Attack on Titan 2 video game.
I mean, you have ODM gear. Like that's all I want.
Yeah, because I was like, oh, that would be so much fun to play like. Well, in real life, but it'd be fun to play like in the game.
Right.
And then like when I got the game, like story wise is not great, and like talking to NPCs is like not great either. Mm-hmm. But like when you actually, is that what they're called? NPCs?
Yeah. No, I'm just laughing.
Like talking like all that stuff, like that you're in the courtyard and you have to like get your stuff or whatever. That part's not that great, but like when you're actually out and like fighting
playing the game.
Yeah, when you're actually out and like fighting the Titans, it's actually very fun, and you're like, this is exactly what I wanted in this game. Like just like shooting off from like building to building, and then like not the like unrealistic like Spider-Man web slinging where there's no buildings. Like you actually have to use things around you.
Yeah.
Like,
that's cool.
Yeah,
that's good.
So I have one left, and it's very, very far away from anything we've talked about.
Anime.
I cook at home a lot, and I cook a lot of chicken.
Lots of chicken.
Oh, like y'all.
I cook a lot of chicken because I eat a lot of chicken because I try to be a good, healthy boy.
He's a chicken boy.
I just started tenderizing my chicken. Do y'all? Okay. Have y'all tenderized anything?
With what, a hammer?
I used a rolling pin.
Yeah, I've tenderized.
You just like beat it?
Yeah,
and
dude.
Chicken before.
I have never tenderized any of my meat ever.
I will
now always and forever tenderize all of my meat. Not just exclusively chicken, though. Oh my God, it makes when you eat so much chicken, you begin to like understand the different textures you get from when a chicken is like undercooked or overcooked, or if it's on the grill or baked or put on a skillet. Like they all have very different textures. But when you tenderize it, it just it makes all those nasty textures go away as long as it's cooked, halfway decent. Tenderize your meat. That's what I'm telling you right now. That's literally, I mean, all this other stuff we talked about is great. Resident Evil is great. Tenderize your chicken.
Hashtag tenderize your chicken is now trending.
That's all I have to say. It literally changed my life because now I'm always going to tenderize my chicken.
What does it do to the chicken? Does it just make it like?
I mean, it's hard to explain, but when you have like a full
yes,
but,
well, yeah, I mean,
but it's like it's already doing some of the work that your teeth would have to do technically.
Yeah. It's like making it softer.
Okay.
It makes it softer, and it's also like it's literally turning like a breast that's 1.5 inches to 2 inches thick to like it spreads it out, like it smashes it down and spreads it out, so you're not having to bite through. Yeah, it's easier to cook.
Yeah, because you're not having to like cook all the way to the center. If
right.
It's like, if you depending on how much you tenderize your
especially
chicken.
with a chicken breast when you have it's like a tapered, so it's like 2 inches at one point, and then like
right.
So if you cook it for long enough to finish cooking the thick parts,
it's dry on
the other parts are already overcooked and nasty, and it's like gotta cut that off or power through it, and it sucks. But now you can tenderize.
But now we have
in 2019 you can tenderize.
This
chicken.
just in, the chicken expert, Simon Lyons.
That you are just as passionate about this chicken as you are about Resident Evil 2.
Well,
as you
I'm
are
just
about
like,
Taz.
I'm kind of like, no offense, but I'm a little baffled that you've never tenderized like any meat.
Bro, it's
like,
it's hard. No one's telling me to tenderize.
31?
Yeah.
And you've never tenderized, like you haven't even seen like, oh, maybe that I should do that.
My grandma never tenderized it. As far as I could tell, I've never seen my grandma, God rest her soul, never tenderized anything. I've never seen my mother tenderize anything. Those are the only two people in my life I've watched
and learned cooking.
has
never tenderized.
I don't think Lydia cooks.
Okay, well, I don't know.
I mean, Lid don't cook. And that's okay.
Yeah, my mom she tenderizes like chicken, and I've seen her tenderize
but your
chicken
mom
and
cooks.
just like bash the crap out of it, and I'm like, oh, that makes it really flat. So when she puts it in these like crumbs for the, it's like she's making like Parmesan chicken.
Oh, okay,
she
gotcha.
puts the crumbs on like both sides, and then like puts it in the oil. Yeah, like it's all flat, and now it's instead of being like this weird lumpy piece of chicken.
So much. It's
See,
so
I didn't
much
think
better.
I didn't think you could. I knew you could tenderize meat. I didn't think you could tenderize chicken. Not that I think you couldn't. I just thought there was no point.
Oh,
No, there's a
you know
point.
There's
Obviously
points.
now.
I think I've
Brilliant.
seen more people tenderize chicken than like beef. Mm-hmm. We don't really eat pork, so I don't know if you tenderize
Weird.
pork, but
I think this came up because I saw this happen. I guess this was on my list, but I forgot to put it on there. There is a YouTube channel called Bon Appetit. You all familiar with this? They do several different shows on there. But one show I've been watching, especially, it's called It's Alive, and it's about this guy who goes around and I think like the main premise of the show is that he's cooking with like things that are alive, like yeast and bacteria and like active enzymes and like that sort of thing. But through watching those videos, I saw a person tenderizing chicken, and I was like, I should try that. I was like, what's that about? I was like, what does that do? What's this new chicken thing?
did you Google it? New chicken thing?
No, I didn't Google it.
What's this new chicken thing?
Yeah, what's this new chicken thing?
Why is that dude beating
But I
that
was just,
chicken?
yeah, it was like it was this week that I did it. It was on Monday. I was like, let me try this out, and I just like laid it out and put a single-use plastic thing over it and just started beating it with the rolling pin. I was like, oh, this is working. I was like, this is exactly what I saw. I was like, I'm gonna keep doing this. You season it, man. Yeah, tenderize your chicken.
Tenderize your chicken.
Tenderize your chicken or your meat, just any meat.
Tenderize your meat.
Tenderize your meat,
I don't know
Dana.
if you can tenderize
Okay.
fish. Maybe don't tenderize fish.
I think fish
That
is.
seems
I mean,
dangerous.
fish. I feel like that would just be a mess.
you're gonna mush
Salmon
it.
sometimes already falls off the.
You gotta mush it all up.
Yeah,
It's good.
It could be no fish left.
there wouldn't be any fish left.
Like a paste. Like
Oh,
salmon
fish
paste.
paste?
Yeah.
Ugh.
Woof.
Gross. That sounds so bad.
Well, they have, like,
Someone's
pate.
made fish paste.
No, I know
Somebody's
there's
out there eating
there's
fish
fish paste. Like I've experienced fish paste in my travels.
Ew.
Where do they do
in
fish
the
paste?
States. Like literally fish paste is something you can buy.
Oh,
Like
you
I'm
say,
just saying
in your
I'm
travels,
just,
like
yeah,
I was in the
travels
mountains
as
of
a human,
yogi.
as a
like-
human being in my travels on this earth, I've come across fish paste and it's disgusting.
Yeah, it sounds like something that is
I mean,
real.
I guess anything that's a paste though. If there was chicken paste, I'd still be like, nah.
Oh my God, chicken paste. That's one thing I'm
That
not.
That's
literally
the most
sounds
tender
like
chicken.
That literally sounds like the Gerber baby food version of like mashed
Yeah.
chicken, or like the meat mash.
Woof.
What meat mash? What meat
They have
mash?
they have
What?
meat like
What meat
like
mash?
Gerber baby food meat. I only know that because I ate it once.
Why?
Because I was promised a dozen cookies.
I was promised 3 wishes from a
I
genie.
was promised a dozen baked fresh cookies,
And
which
did you
I
get
got.
those?
Oh
Okay.
yeah, I got. But like, man, it was rough. It really isn't the taste. Like, it doesn't taste good.
It's the texture. It's got to
The
be right.
texture
Yeah.
was the worst, and it has this like cardboardy aftertaste. I ate it with a Slim Jim because there was like no way I could get
Okay,
that
I
down.
think it was a cardboard.
Interesting.
You ate it with a Slim Jim?
Yeah, like I ate it with like it was like, for lack of better terms, it was like my chaser to this gross meat
Okay.
paste.
Did
was
you eat
like,
the whole jar?
Yeah, the whole jar. I had to eat the whole jar. But then Emily, George and Emily, that Emily, she baked me 10 or 12 cookies.
They made you do this?
Yeah, it was over by it was way before we changed the layout of upstairs, and so the kids area was still where it used to be, and we were just starting to move all the stuff out, and there was they found
oh god.
Oh, what do you mean they found it?
They weren't expired.
Super,
they weren't expired, but they found these baby food meat things, and Austin was like, "You gonna eat one of those?" And I was like, "Not for free." And he was like, "I'll make you cookies," dude. And I was like, "Okay, give me that Slim Jim."
So tenderize your meat, but don't make it a paste.
Tenderize your meat. Don't paste your fish.
It's a whole bunch of life lessons.
News. Welcome to our news segment.
I hate it. I hate it.
I've been waiting for so long to do that. I didn't want to interrupt anyone, but I was like...
You interrupt yourself just to say...
I was going to do it before you were like, this is my last one. And I was just going to be like, now's the time.
All right.
So...
I hate this.
What is this? What are we doing?
This is our news segment. Our news segment consists of me... talking.
Oh, okay. Well,
hey,
bye.
Can you stop talking? I'm trying to talk right now.
God, rude.
So rude. It consists of me giving you guys the title of a news article, and then I give you guys time to think about and talk about what you think that news article is about, and then me revealing to you the truth of the article.
Oh,
the truth. So,
truth.
This article is called Portraits of Courage.
Sounds soldiery.
I was just gonna say it sounds very veteran. Portraits of Courage, or is it
service dogs?
Oh my god, if it's service dogs.
Oh man, that'd be so good. A good
Portraits of Courage. It's either that or people who have overcome diseases or illnesses or something.
Or have you heard about this with a New York volunteer fire brigade that is in charge of a sector that's 30,000 people or something like that, have lobbied to open up the case again for 9/11.
What?
Because they said they found they said there's no way that there weren't explosives planted in the tower.
Shut
so
up.
they've lobbied to reopen the case for 9/11 and have lobbied all the other fire departments in New York to do the same thing.
Did Bush really do 9/11?
I don't know, bro.
What?
Mission accomplished.
I just know that they finally got that bill passed to fund because all the firefighters are getting sick and passing away because of they're when they were cleaning up, they're like, no, it's clean. You're fine breathing that air, and now everyone has
funny how that works.
Stuff. Yeah, that's insane.
Portraits of Courage.
Portraits of Courage.
Portraits of Courage.
So it's either pictures or paintings.
It's gotta be. I don't know.
Maybe.
I don't think you paint a service dog. I think you.
Are you set on service dogs?
That's just what I want it to be.
I know. Yeah, same. Of courage. I'm gonna go with paintings of soldiers who have survived. If they're missing a limb or something.
That sounds like a very reasonable answer.
Okay.
I, on the other hand, I'm going to say it's service dogs that have sniffed out bombs and protected some or many people.
Okay.
All right.
Final answer.
Final answer. Your final answers are locked in.
Yeah.
All right. Well, Portraits of Courage. I'll read you the subtitle. A Commander-in-Chief's tribute to America's warriors.
Oh no!
Okay.
Wait.
So this is okay. So it's Obama.
No, I think it's President Bush because he started painting after he left office.
Did he? I didn't.
Oh, have
this.
you not seen his pictures of him in the bath?
Oh
my God!
In
Simon.
the bath?
Oh yeah, he paints. Okay, hold on. Slight detour.
George
we'll
W.
get back to the news in
you can't look up that.
Okay, fine.
George W. in
You can
the
look
bath.
up that after this.
Okay, that's fine.
Over.
Now that you said that, I think it's George Bush. His paintings. George Bush's paintings.
Good sentence.
That's why I reset it. George Bush's paintings.
Just that.
Of whatever you said. What was the subtitle?
Portraits of Courage.
What was the subtitle?
A Commander-in-Chief's tribute to America's warriors.
Man, yeah.
So I think it's George Bush painting soldiers.
Yeah, I mean that sounds
painting soldiers.
That sounds very correct.
That sounds very correct.
But
it's not.
That is correct.
Oh, that's correct.
Yeah. Okay. So Portraits of Courage is George W. Bush's courage paintings to be first exhibition in Kennedy Center's new space.
Are these all from the bath?
No.
Are these all done exclusively in his bath?
Portraits of Courage is a collection of 66 paintings by former President George W. Bush to honor members of the armed forces. It will be the first visual arts exhibition. I keep wanting to say exhibit. I guess it's the same thing.
Basically the same thing.
At the Kennedy Center's new expansion, The Reach.
Where's the Kennedy Center?
I have no idea, actually.
Quick, before I look like a dumb idiot.
The exhibition opens August 7th, a month after The Reach makes its debut with a 16-day festival of the arts from September 7th to the 22nd. The paintings were first shown at the George W. Presidential Center in Dallas in 2017.
Interesting.
Have made 6 stops throughout North America. Yeah. They're like, he's actually good at painting is the thing.
Yeah, it's
like,
really...
These are the 2 images, like... that are on the top of that article, and then there's this other one that's like down here, and it's like it's very expressionistic, but it's like
it's awesome.
Still looks good, and it's like, hey man, more power to you.
Yeah, cool.
You ran the country, you run a ranch, and you can paint people's faces, which is not easy.
Yeah, faces are hard. Hands are hard.
Faces are hard.
If y'all could have George Bush paint your portrait.
Mm-hmm.
What?
Where is this going?
What style would you ask him to paint you in? And if he asked he said, "Hey, Mom, give me a little bit of direction. Why don't you tell me a few words that describe yourself? And tell me how you see yourself."
Is this like how I want him to paint me, or how I see myself? Because those are 2 different things. Like, if I was like, oh, I want this baller portrait of myself, then I'm going to say words that totally don't describe me. But if I want, like, a very, like, honest, like, portrait of Amon, this is Amon.
I think it's
I kind of want to know both now at this point. If you're going to say words that don't describe you, I think it's up to you.
It's like, he's just like, hey, man, I just really want to paint you.
Then I'd probably be like, I'm sorry, like...
You wouldn't let George W. paint you?
Not if you asked me like that. I wouldn't let anybody paint me if they asked me like that. Hey, I really just want to paint you. Hey, Simon, I've been looking at you for a while, and I just really want to paint you.
That's not what George W. said.
That's what he was thinking. 9/11 was an inside job, and I really want to paint you.
I would let George Bush paint me.
What would be the 3 words? He's like, give me three words.
Is this the 3 words that describe you, or the type of painting, or like the style of painting?
I think the style's up to George, but you just give him 3 words.
Okay, I would say, because I would love to see him try to do this, I would say stoic. Right?
You are very stoic.
Yeah. Goofy.
Those aren't the same.
Those aren't mutually exclusive.
Okay, I'll do stoic. I'll do...
No, Goofy's on there. What's the 3rd one? You can't take back anything.
They're like permanent words. Stoic, goofy, and relaxed.
Okay, see, that is a very Bill Murray-esque picture right there, I think. If I was going to envision like a Bill Murray portrait, it would be like, I used to have this poster in my room of Steve Martin.
Yeah.
I freaking love this poster. It was him in an all-white suit looking like off into the distance and like his hand up like he was singing a song, and he had a fake fish stuffed.
I remembered that.
Stuffed in his suit jacket.
I don't remember the poster. I know that picture though.
It was signed. It said, I don't think it was actually signed by him, but the print was. And it said, "Best Fishes, Steve Martin." And I was like, you are amazing.
You're a genius.
I had that in my room forever.
Best Fishes.
Scholar among men.
That's exactly what I see when you say stoic, goofy, and relaxed.
Is that Best Fishes picture? Yeah, I would love to see. I now, this is all I want in life, is George Bush to paint a portrait of me, because while you guys are talking, did go to Google and typed in George Bush paintings and went to images. Now, I suggest everybody at home do the same thing, because the first thing that comes up is a picture of
Putin. And it's good.
It's good.
A solid
but
Putin
look
picture.
at that expression, dude.
That's a Putin if I've ever seen one.
Yeah, it's very good. So I would suggest Googling that at home.
They're actually good.
They
like
are
you're scrolling
very good,
down
yeah.
and I can kind of see them, and I'm actually kind of impressed.
It's pretty good.
You think he took lessons? Like, you think he got like some crazy art coach in there?
Regardless, you still have to paint the pictures.
It's true.
He loves painting pictures of his dogs too.
Hey, what else is he gonna do? He's retired.
I mean, yeah, fair. I mean, yeah, he doesn't. He literally
He
doesn't have to do
painted
anything for the rest of his life.
66 armed force people, and now he can paint his dogs.
Well, no, he painted his dogs first, I think. But yeah, 66.
That's a lot of people.
It's a lot of painting.
That's a lot of people that he's having to look at their
paintings.
face and then paint a picture of them that honors them.
Mm-hmm. That's tough. I would not want to do that.
Yeah, because you can imagine, like, if he's anything like me or you, that's not one canvas. That's like several canvases
Pressure's
later.
real high.
Yeah, pressure's real high. Like, gotta make this a good one. All right, G-Dub. Let's not mess up this one.
What do you think he calls himself in his head?
You think he calls himself
like
W?
GW?
W.
W?
Because that's what the
G-Dubs.
country called him, wasn't it? It was
G-Dubs.
W.
G-Dubs.
W.
Why did we call him W?
I don't know.
Because
what was
George
Senior's middle
Bush.
name?
I mean,
Well, I guess he was. Yeah, George.
well, we just
Senior
called him.
was.
Yeah, it was George Bush, and then you have George W. Bush.
Yeah.
So we just called him W.
Yeah, Dub. So you had, you don't want to call him Junior. You just call him.
Do y'all
Well,
have,
W.
what do y'all call yourselves in your head? Like when you're talking to yourself? Do y'all do that?
I talk to myself, yes, but I don't know if I ever call my name.
Yeah.
I
was
don't
like, yeah, me
call my
neither.
name, but I
Yeah,
mean,
me
if I
neither.
was thinking about it, I'd probably say Amon, even though that's not my name.
Yeah, but everybody calls you Amon.
Yeah, that's still not my name, though.
No, I know, but you hear Amon more than
The other one.
yes,
Yeah.
which will
Which
never
will
be
not be
spoken
named.
on this podcast.
The other thing that your name is.
Well, cool. I didn't realize we were going to have so much George W. Bush talk in this, but
I mean, yeah, I'm for it.
Y'all brought it up before I did.
It's true.
You talked
you
about.
you were the
No.
one that was like news.
No, but you mentioned George W. Bush before I mentioned George
That's
W.
fair.
Bush. You
You
guys
did say
talked about
Commander-in-Chief.
9/11 and.
Oh yeah, technically
Yeah, that
you
was
did.
that.
You
Yeah,
did
that
say,
came up before I said anything about George W. Bush.
That's weird. Interesting.
No. Okay, well, that's all I've got. Are y'all good?
How are you?
How are y'all?
Good.
Are you good?
I'm good.
Yeah.
Stuff.
I
Favorites.
Favorites. That was a pretty good list of favorites.
Favorites. So what was it in total? It was
One.
Resident Evil.
Well, his first one was
What was
Taz.
your first one?
First one was The Adventure Zone.
Oh, the
Amnesty.
Adventure Zone, Amnesty,
Resident Evil. Chicken.
Tenderize
Tenderize your chicken.
Tenderize your chicken.
Also, check out Bon Appetit, the YouTube channel. They got a bunch of cool stuff.
Yours were
I was Stranger Things.
Stranger Things, Breath of the Wild,
Yeah, and Attack on Titan.
Attack on Titan. Mine were
Rich Brian.
Rich Brian,
And that Commander. I only did 2.
Commander.
What was it
Descender.
called? Yeah,
Descender.
Descender 10 stars or whatever.
Well, I have more. I just did the news, so
Yeah, fair.
yeah.
Cool.
Check all that stuff out, y'all.
Check
Do
all that
it.
stuff out.
It's all good.
It's all good.
It's all very good.
You'll like it.
Yeah. We talked a lot
If you
about
like
anime.
this,
Yeah, we talked a lot about anime, and that's
we
okay.
kind of covered the whole gambit
Hey,
today.
Yeah.
newsflash though, if you don't like video games and anime and music, then you probably
You
Don't like this.
yeah.
like this.
Hey, how'd you make it this far?
Yeah.
Hey, if you guys like anime and you haven't watched Cowboy Bebop, do it.
Yeah, that's probably a good idea.
It's so good. I used to watch Samurai Champloo as well.
Oh, that's a good one too.
It's a very good one.
So good.
So, next week we'll be back. Another episode. It won't be a favorites, but there you go.
Cool.
If you made it this far,
Thank you.
thank you.
Congratulations.
The hits will keep coming. We're excited to keep doing this. We're excited to have you with us.
This has been one of my favorite things that I've done in July.
This is absolutely like the
This is my favorites.
favorite. Yes,
This is my July
This is the ultimate
favorite.
the
favorites.
favorites for all things is this.
Listening to myself talk in this podcast is my favorite thing to
That
listen
is
to
the
in
I
my
weirdest
have
life.
to
hurdle
edit
to
it,
get
and it's
over.
the worst thing in the world.
Yeah.
No, that's not. Listening to yourself on the podcast is way easier than watching yourself on video.
Yeah, no, that's
Mm-hmm.
true. That's true.
Well, cool. Thanks for joining us.
Bye.
Also, check out check out our YouTube channel.
Check out our YouTube
and check
channel.
out the videos that are on there because they're good and funny. AFGF.
A few good friends.
A few good friends.
You'll see it. You'll like it.
We love you.
We love you. We do.
You're our best friend. You personally.
You're a good friend.
You.
I wouldn't say best, but
all
you're
right,
a good friend.
You're good.
You're a few good friends. You guys are good friends. Yeah.
Fair.
Bye.
Bye.